You see the promise of They Ask You Answer as the path to grow your business and drive remarkable revenue results in the digital age. But you're an entrepreneur with little to no budget to spare, so how can you make this revolutionary digital marketing methodology work for you? Well, you're in luck, because that's the exact question we're going to answer together in this video. If you're a solopreneur or you're not quite ready to pull the trigger on hiring extra help, you can certainly follow in Marcus's footsteps by rolling up your sleeves and doing the work yourself. This is a great way to ramp up what They Ask You Answer right now without spending a single dime on a new hire. However, you will be paying more in the currency of your own time. So with that in mind, you need to think toward the future. You see, any discussion of budget with They Ask You Answer needs to be accompanied by a discussion of your priorities. For They Ask You Answer to work, we suggest hiring a content manager to own your content production efforts and a videographer to produce the videos you need to drive traffic and answer your customer questions. Now, you're probably thinking that's a hefty investment, and you're right. It is, but it's the kind of investment we've seen time and again at thousands of companies around the world pay dividends. If you're legitimately too small to hire a content manager right now, find someone from your team to oversee that content. But you will need to remove all of their other responsibilities from them if that's the case. Because if content is just one more thing on their plate, it will never get done. It will always be deprioritized for something more important. Unfortunately, handing content responsibilities to an internal employee can also be a little bit tricky, as it sometimes leads to the production of fluffy, self-serving content. You will only be successful with They Ask You Answer if your content is honest, thorough, and transparent. If you intend to do the work yourself, that's awesome. But you also need to make sure it's a non-negotiable priority on your calendar. So you absolutely must schedule time to guarantee that the content you need to produce actually gets done at the right pace. For any business out there, regardless of size, producing content is essential. If you are a small startup who wants to be successful with They Ask You Answer, get that content manager on staff as soon as possible. If you're doing more than $1 million in revenue, there's no reason not to have a content manager on your team. It is a small investment that will pay a hefty reward. And if you're doing more than $5 million in revenue, you should absolutely have a videographer on staff as well. If you're watching this and saying, there's no way you can find the budget to hire for your marketing team, take a look again at your budget. If you are absolutely unable to find that money, you should be able to reserve time for you or another employee to get aligned around making content a priority. If anything I've said so far has made you go, hold on there, Lizzo, you are a smart gal, but what you're suggesting isn't possible, I get it. They Ask You Answer requires a lot of commitment. Is it the right commitment for your company? Well, first, let's take a look at your budget again. If you are completely strapped for cash with zero wiggle room in your budget, you will need to have a current employee, whether that's you or someone else, make content their #1 priority. If that still seems impossible, however, then now may not be the time for you to get started with They Ask You Answer. They Ask You Answer only works when you are willing to reimagine your company priorities so you can focus on answering customer questions with thoroughness and honesty. If you aren't willing to shake things up a little bit and just say no to the way things have always been done, again, now may not be the right time for you to get started with They Ask You Answer. They Ask You Answer started at a kitchen table in Virginia and blossomed into a movement. So where will your success story with They Ask You Answer begin? Well, if you still have questions about what you heard in this video, or you simply want to talk through some of your most pressing They Ask You Answer challenges, set up a time to talk. We would love to hear from you.